Hello and welcome back to Really Good Appears, where we chat about and discuss all sorts of movies. My name is Gary O'Brien, and joining me as always for the monthly recaps, it's the one and only David Scanlon. Today we're talking about the latest movies of February 2024, so stick around, we hope you enjoy.
Go on, you introduce, tell the
That's
people.
what I'm trying to think of.
We're in February.
Are we this is the podcast?
This is the podcast.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
So this is midweek madness.
This is a bit of midweek madness,
Yes,
and I hope people are strapped in, because things might get crazy.
Do you want to know something? Do you want me to derail the podcast already?
Let's do it.
I watched a movie called Mommy Dearest. It's all about Joan Crawford and adopting like children and being like a bad mother. And one of the children was always strapped into bed at night. Movie never explains why. Anyway, sorry, just had to tell somebody.
It was a vampire.
He did look like he didn't have like a soul. Anyway, sorry, I'm immediately getting derailed.
And now I'm thinking of the movie that I just watched.
What did you watch?
I just watched The Lost Boys, which is why I'm projecting that onto your movie.
Oh my god, Joe! I also watched.
Yeah.
I watched Two Boys Having a Good Time. That's me and you, David. We're having fun here.
Okay.
Hello.
Let's get a move on.
Hello. Yes. Welcome. Yeah, we're doing that. We've places to be. Well, David has places to be. This is the monthly recap show where we talk about all the movies we watched in a month, and we didn't watch many movies this month. And David's gone away, so we're recording this early, so we've only watched 4. It's 4 movies. Watch it take 2 hours, but we'll be quick. We promise. And we're talking about Madam Web, American Fiction, The Iron Claw, and Argylle. This time codes if you want to jump around. Let us know what you're excited for next month. We cover that at the end of the podcast. If you want to interact with the pod, be sure to leave a comment on the YouTube, get onto the Spotify Q&A, or email us at reallygoodappears@gmail.com.
This is a funny month because there is obviously
It's a leap year.
There's a leap year. There's a lack of movies. There's only 4 movies, and
There was just ones we didn't see.
there is ones we didn't see.
Bob Marley, Wicked Little Letters,
Well, Wicked Little Letters is now
Double
isn't it?
Blind.
Oh.
Well, it is when this comes out, but we wouldn't
okay.
have seen it because.
But there's a clear difference between the 4 movies. There's a straight line between the 2 groups of movies, 2 sets of movies.
Yeah. 2 are ones that came out this year, and 2 came out last year, but only this year in Ireland.
Exactly. And other things.
And other things, yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to derail your point. Back to Mommy Dearest. No, sorry, good.
And I think the funny thing is, I think people should be more interested in the ones you're referring to.
Yes.
But I think people will be more interested to hear what we have to say about the other 2.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm being weirdly,
vague and cryptic.
but I could just say it. Like,
you could, but it's midweek madness. You can do whatever you want, David. Joe, I'm starting to think, David, we're going to be really composed for next week's episode. Something tells me,
yeah.
I think next week we're going to be on the ball.
well, see, again, yeah, that's important. That's an important one.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point, Gary. I just made and David backed up. Next week we're going to be talking about our Oscar predictions and snubs. Have a listen to that and listen to all those movies you should be watching.
Yes.
2 of which we're talking about today. American
Yes.
Fiction and The Iron Claw. The other 2 are ones we have more to say about, but less the actual movie themselves and more just the state of cinema.
They're only applicable to next year's Oscars.
That is incredibly true, yeah. Madame Web. If you were to have to nominate that for any Oscar, what would you nominate it for, David? Any Oscar. Has to be one. And it can't be Best Picture because that's too obvious.
Costume?
Oh, really? Wow, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yep. It's none of the acting categories. It's not the direction
What?
or the writing.
What?
And it's not the cinematography or the special effects.
I was going to say
Makeup?
best live action short. That's when you edit it down to the trailer.
Okay. And it's still shit.
Yeah, it's still shit.
It's worse.
Yeah, somehow worse.
Anyway,
We're getting slightly.
I think, spoiler alert, it's not as bad as people are saying.
Yeah, well, let's get it. Let's start with Madam Web, shall we? Okay,
or My Damn Web.
My damn web. So, okay, I have a lot to say about this movie. Let's start the movie itself. Well, I have a lot to say about the movie, and then a lot of stuff going around about the movie. But basically, for anyone who doesn't know, this is part of as the Weekly Planet boys would describe it, the SPUM universe, the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies. It's basically that. To anyone who might not know, Sony owned the character of Spider-Man, not the film rights. They actually own the characters, or they partially own the character of Spider-Man, which means that Disney Marvel can't own Spider-Man unless Sony sell them. The rights will never revert back, but they can't make any movies that aren't Spider-Man related. So to cash in on the superhero Marvel craze. They have been making movies like Venom, Venom 2, but it's worse, Morbius, and now the latest one, Madam Web, which is based on the character Cassandra Webb, who from the comics is usually depicted as like an elderly blind woman who has these sort of telepathic, future teller powers. What's the word? Clairvoyant powers, yeah. And there's some other supporting characters.
Can't believe I pulled that out of my ass.
And other supporting characters in this of Spider-Women and such. But it can't have Spider-Man in every movie, so it has to try and survive on its own. So this is the latest installment of this. Yeah. So this movie is basically about an accident occurs. Cassandra Webb all of a sudden has these clairvoyant powers after some suspicious things that might have happened to her as a kid related to spiders, because everything is spiders. And our bad guy, who's like a Spider-Man, but he's not a Spider-Man, he's a worse version of Spider-Man, has these dreams of these 3 women trying to kill him, who also have spider powers because everything needs to be spider related. Yeah. So it's up to him. Well, he really wants to kill these 3 girls. And all of a sudden there's some interconnected web in between them. Yeah, that's not subtlety that is lost on this movie. And it's up to Cassandra Webb, whose surname is Webb, spiders. It all connects together.
Did you say Webb?
Did I say Webb? And it's basically up to her to protect these 3 girls from her latest powers. Now, I can keep ranting, but I'm just going to do another thing, which is this has been described as one of the worst superhero movies ever made. It's the worst of the Spum universe. People are saying that Sony should give back the rights to Spider-Man and blah 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 blah.
The typical letterbox review is it makes Morbius look like The Godfather or something like that, which is...
So I went in with the lowest of expectations. As you might have heard last month on the podcast, I was really looking forward for a shit movie. Yeah. This is fine.
It's so fun.
This is like, it's not good, but it's not offensively bad.
Yeah.
And I would seriously like people to just fucking calm down with this, because I just feel like I've been through this before with the likes of, and I know this sounds... I'm not trying to sound like a wank doing this, but like this shit's happened with the Marvels, it's happened with Miss Marvel, it's happened with She-Hulk. I just feel like and then everyone's like, oh, Morbius, it's so bad, it's funny.
Yeah.
This is not a
trend, isn't it?
Yeah, like, this is trend with like, oh, women have to like, if they're doing a superhero movie, it has to be excellent. Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to rag all over it. Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is horrendous. Doctor Strange and Thor, there's some fans of those movies. I think those are balls, but yes, Benedict Cumberbatch could do whatever he wants, and Chris Hemsworth. I just think it's just not unfair. It's a bit unfair, but I just think it's so out of proportion, and I feel like a lot of people made up their mind about this movie before they watched it. Yeah. And I just think, like, for example, there's a scene where she goes to Peru, and it is funny because she goes, I need to go to Peru, and then she's in Peru, and everyone starts laughing. I'm just like, okay, I get it's a bit of a quick edit, but like, what do you want? You wanted this movie to be 5 minutes longer to see how she got to Peru? Yeah. Get over yourselves. I just feel like everyone needs to calm the fuck down. And
The Dark Knight Rises.
And look, I don't like to cross streams, David. Okay, I don't like to bring too much of our rugby, love and experience into the podcast, because I know Niall's a rugby fan. But to quote one of the greatest Rugby World Cup coaches of all time, Eddie Jones, you just gotta stop being so negative, mate. Why are you so negative? So that's my rant. I have more to say, but I just think that's my thoughts.
No, it's absolutely fair. So I thought the best way to describe this is if you have seen the other, as we call it, Spum universe movies. Personally, I actually think it's probably the best of the 4 that have been brought out.
None of them are great.
None of them are great. But personally, I went into Venom with high expectations, and I think it had the capabilities of being, like, maybe not great, but it had the potential of being very good. You know, you have someone like Tom Hardy on board. You have, in that first movie, they had Riz Ahmed as a villain. I think it's just a mess. Yeah. It's like...
Both
it's overly corny,
and also visually.
Yeah, it's overly corny. It's hard to watch at times. Second one, you go in with Andy Serkis as a director.
I forgot he directed that.
You have, what's his name, Woody Harrelson as a villain, and again, it's so.
You have the guy from Line of Duty. No, you don't. You have the guy from Boiling Point.
Stephen Graham. Yeah, it's obnoxiously annoying. Yeah. And then Morbius is disgraceful. Yeah. And it actually is disgraceful. And I hate that movie so much because I went into the cinema. I watched it once, okay? I went into the cinema. It was around, it must have been at Christmas time, was it?
It was, we discovered this, we talked about this last month. It was April 1st.
It was April 1st. Yes. Okay. I went in with a proper good buzz and it ruined it. Yeah. It like ruined my night. Whereas this one, again, I don't know if it was just a low expectation that I went in with, but it was just totally fine.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say is, okay, and this is more to do with the overall scene of superhero movies, and it's probably an issue for Sony themselves, but you know, the way things are going with superhero movies, you need to differentiate yourself, or you need to differentiate your universe. So a lot of people just seem to be, or a lot of movies just tend to be very generic and stuff. Whereas with the characters they have and the world they can build, you think this would have been a great opportunity for Sony just to go, we're just going to go something completely different. We're going to go dark.
Yeah.
We're going to go, you know, we're just going to build this universe in the Seven universe. That's how dark we're going to go.
Okay.
And like, you could have had Venom as a psychological thriller that, you know, you have this journalist going around investigating these murders, and he doesn't know that he's the one doing the murders or something like that, and he has this voice in his head. He thinks he's, you know, going and saying something like that. Make it deadly serious, whatever. Instead, it's played for a joke the whole time. Honestly, don't know what you do with Morbius. I mean, I'm sure there's something you could do, but again, it's just a bit weird. Yeah. And again, with this one, I think the issue is that there was a great... I think they had a good concept or a good idea, but they pulled out of it because they obviously didn't want an R rating or anything like that, and they didn't want to make it overly serious. I think they obviously wanted to try and get, you know, kids in and try and boost their box office. But you could have made this into a Final Destination or kind of Scream slasher type movie. Yeah. And I think it would have been a great idea of, you know, you have Dakota Johnson's character, Cassandra Webb. Sorry, I just couldn't remember her first name. Cassie Webb, who has these weird
web like a spider.
Who has these weird kind of visions, and like, yeah, just having this masked killer going around, and she sees, you know, the killer, you know, murdering people, and her trying to, again, one up her, just trying to get in ahead of them and stuff. And again, the idea of having a Spider-Man who is a murderer and stuff, and kind of chasing after, I think there's a good idea there. But as you say, it's not offensively bad, and it's fine, but but negative backlash has been a little bit over the top, I think. Yeah, and I again, I've just so much to rant about the reaction to this movie, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I get that, but it's just like, what we expect. This is my fucking thing. You know what? You don't need to watch this. Yeah. You don't need to go in and watch this movie. Yeah. This movie's already made $51 million. Yeah. For example, or for reference, one of my favorite movies this year, we're going to talk about it after this, is called The Iron Claw. Incredible movie, great acting, largely forgotten about from the Academy and general audiences. That's made $38 million and has been out since last year in America. Go see better shit if that's what you want. I understand there's a level of, like, you know, I want to be entertained. I want a big blockbuster. Okay, good. Well, go see good stuff, and they'll make more good stuff from that. If you keep seeing bad shit, they're going to keep making bad shit. You went to see Morbius, you get Madam Web. Shut up. That's my biggest thing. Is like, if you're giving out about the fucking, the Marvel Disney Plus shows, stop watching them. That's my biggest thing. It's just like, there's just this level of like, I understand there's like a completionist of like, oh, you have to go see everyone. You have to see all the Marvel movies. Don't see the ones that don't interest you, and just shut up if you go in, if it doesn't do what you wanted to do based on your expectations of this. You know what I mean? My biggest thing is like, people are going, it's like, oh, it's not the same, like, you know, Cassandra Webb from the comics and stuff like that. It's not meant to be, buddy. It's a pre-origin. They went to like, oh, you didn't get to see the Spider Girls, or spoiler, you don't really get to see much of the Spider Women in this movie. It's like, no shit, it's not advertised as that. It's advertised before that. So you're wanting something from a movie. You're getting angry at a movie for doing something it never promised to do. Sounds very similar to what you were going in expecting with Doctor Strange. That's different. That's in the motherfucking title. It's called Multiverse of Madness. There's no madness in that movie. Okay. I just feel, I don't know, Scarlet Witch in that movie was pretty mad. She was pretty mad. She's very mad. She's very angry. Like I am angry. I'm just like, I don't know. Every time I see a negative review, it just starts with worst movie ever, horrible, and it's just like, there's redeeming qualities in this. Don't get me wrong. There's some bad stuff in it. Bad dialogue. Bad dubbing. Bad, horrendous dubbing of the villain. The performances are very hit and miss. Anyway, my other thing was, this is the same writers as Morbius, Power Rangers, Dracula Untold, Gods of Egypt, The Last Witch Hunter. What are you expecting? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I think your point is kind of made there, but no, my biggest thing about this movie is just that and I asked you to kind of get up the number of superhero properties that came out in 2023, and then obviously maybe ones that came out in 2024. Like people are saying like they have superhero fatigue or whatever it is, but like, you can't get superhero fatigue if you like change the genre of which you're building your movie around. And I just think this was just a missed opportunity, and the whole kind of universe has been a missed opportunity of just differentiating themselves from whether it be the Marvel movies or even like other DC movies and stuff like that. Is and like people, I'm sure their executives or the producers will say, well, if you want to make us this, an R-rated movie or something like that, we're going to take a loss or a hit on the box office. But like,
look at Deadpool.
Yeah.
Look at Joker.
Anything, like, you can make it your own. And you know what? You could probably take a hit on the box office, but you could probably cut the budget in half if you just make it like a little bit kind of lower budget style, like a Scream, like I say, a Final Destination or something like that. Get one of those writers or directors in, and I'm sure there's none of them that have really gone through the roof and are hugely expensive to get your hands on. So yeah, for me, that's just the main kind of criticism I would have.
Look at the Jurassic Park, for example, getting Gareth Edwards. Perfect. As in, like, that's the sort of talent you want to be like. He's made a very good indie thing that unfortunately nobody saw, but at least they could be appreciated. Get that type of visionary in. Visionary is a bit of a wanky word, but you know what I mean. Get someone who's like clearly has a distinctive style, and I think that's what was great about the MCU when around that 20. Like that end of phase 3 stuff, like, because they were incorporating all these new characters and new like what they were doing with the likes of Winter Soldier and Guardians and Black Panther. But then it's almost like when they had to start bringing in new characters, they reverted back to, okay, well, what worked well in 2011, 2013 and stuff like that. Yeah. But like when you look at like when you look what's coming up for Marvel, for example, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, Kraven, technically, Venom 3, Captain America, Brave New World. Like, there's nothing in Kraven, Venom, or Captain America that looks new anyway from what we've seen. But like Deadpool and Wolverine, that could be fun because again, it's distinct in its style. Yeah. It's not trying to be like anything else before it. And I think that's the biggest problem that DC have had, in that like they've just been trying to make Marvel movies for the last 7 years.
Exactly.
I know this is very ranty, I'm aware. It's just sorry, I just feel like,
and look, I think that the biggest point is, like, I don't think we were expecting a huge amount going in.
No.
But it's the negative. I think the negative press is probably unfair, but I think Sony sometimes bring it on themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like it's disappointing because I thought some of the cast were quite good. I thought the three girls were okay. Like, I know Sydney Sweeney was miscast, but
I just think it's really weird to have a 27-year-old woman in like a tiny skirt and knee-high stockings playing a 15-year-old. That's just weird.
Yeah, I like that again was kind of a misstep. They just should have just had them as adults.
Yeah.
Like, just had them with 20-year-olds in college or something like that, and they're just getting murdered. Like, it doesn't have to be kids, really.
Yeah. But again, it fits better with kids with that slasher genre, because kids have to be murdered. We know this.
Why does it fit better?
I'm joking.
Oh, you're joking. Sorry. Sorry, I was going through my head.
But so we have Isabella Merced and Celeste O'Connor, who were great. Well,
they're fine.
They're pretty, like, again, for the dialogue they're given.
Yeah, dialogue is pretty poor.
Well, I mean, we know that most from the villain Tahar Rahim playing as Ezekiel Sims.
Yeah,
weirdly
Ezekiel
dubbed.
Sims there. Yeah, there was. I don't know what they were thinking. Like,
I've no clue what was going on there. Adam Scott
was grand.
He's good.
Emma Roberts was grand.
Fine.
But again, that was the other thing. They should. Why are they linking this to Peter Parker?
I just don't do that.
Yeah.
And just because people are going to get annoyed then.
Yeah.
Because every reference isn't going to be good enough.
Yeah.
So I also had the logic of, like, these probably aren't a lot to make. They'll always make money off.
Yeah.
And people don't want them. But then again, if Sony gave people what they think they want, not to say they wouldn't, but I mean, like, if they gave, let's say, Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield, and that doesn't turn out well, that movie's probably gonna have like $180 million budget, because to get all these lads back to do that, like, and to all the Spider-Man effect, like, that's a massive budget.
Yeah.
That won't make as much money as a Madam Web or Morbius.
No, absolutely not.
So that's why they don't make those.
Yeah, I know, but like, that's what like, Andrew Garfield's never coming back. Like, surely. I don't know, man.
If they threw enough money at him.
No, I think he's got better things to be doing. But
what's he done since Tick Tick Boom?
I'd say he's just been relaxing.
You heard it first. David's more into relaxing than making that hard cash.
Nah, but that man's probably living on a pile of cash after No Way Home.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, we've seen ways of making good movies off of a miniature budget. Never mind. Like, so that's my point.
Yeah.
But like, it's the thing of getting those writers in. like, what do you? Well, first of all, why are you getting 4 writers on board? Get
5.
1 writer. Oh, is it 5?
Well, there might be one of them just credited as
Yeah,
like the creator of Madam Web.
Just get 1 writer.
Yeah.
To write a good movie.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably easier said than done, but like, firstly, having 5 people writing a script is always going to add issues, or writing a story is always going to add issues.
Yeah.
So like, I think going in with 5 writers is straight away, that's a red flag.
Find good writers and apply them to the genre and make them put their own spin on it.
Yeah.
And I understand then some people who are a big fan of the comic books, rightly so, get annoyed when
Yeah.
the source material isn't treated well. But I guarantee you Marvel's made some big changes that you don't mind because the movie's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same with like when you go back to Batman v Superman, a lot of people get angry about that movie because it's inaccurate in some ways, but it's like just the movie's not good, and I feel like you can't gloss over it.
Exactly.
Like I've watched some James Bond movies where I'm like, that's not right, but Pierce Brosnan's surfing a tsunami. I'm like, I'm too having too much of a fun time here.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Dakota Johnson. Look, I'm a big Dakota Johnson fan after this. Honestly, I am. I think the way she's handled the press tour has been great.
Yeah.
She's a very awkward person. She doesn't watch her movies usually, but she's just dry-witted and just fucking with people.
So yeah, there's some scenes in this where she's very good at that kind of dry wit and stuff, but there's some line deliveries which are just
really bad,
very poor.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard to, because I've seen her in other stuff and it's the same weird line delivery, and I think I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
There's
a scene where she's like, but I didn't have that thing, and the weird flashback thing at the end. But then again, I think there's some I don't know, the scene where she realizes she has spider powers and then tries to climb a wall, like that.
That's funny, yeah.
There's stuff like that. There's redeeming things in this movie that I just feel like aren't giving a chance because it is a bit campy, it is a bit silly, but it's not. Everything is being critiqued.
How well would this movie have been received in 2004?
I can tell you. Catwoman style.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's better than Catwoman.
It is, but like I could see it being on the same page with that and Elektra. Jesus, what do all these movies have in common? Anyway, that's just my thing. Like, also, I'm just looking at superhero movies here as well. Like, when you look at the Batman, David, like the successes, Batman, the Batman, very Fincher-esque. A lot of people like Werewolf at Night by Night.
Yeah.
Good horror movie.
Black and white.
Black and white. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like. For some reason, what the fuck? New Mutants. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot to get off my chest about this movie, and I just think it's not good. I don't want to see another one. It's perfectly fine. Let's just move on with our lives and just leave everyone involved alone.
I think you're being very hypocritical because you said the same thing about Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange was a sequel with better talent involved. Promoted higher stakes for kicking off a section of the Marvel universe. Was like, this is going to be what kicks off the multiverse. They said that, not me. And they went to 2 multiverses, had a weird fight at the end, and some of the worst CGI I've ever seen at the end with his forehead.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's Marvel books. They can pay for that shit, but they don't because they overwork and underpay their editors or animators because of the deadlines they set for themselves. Nobody's looking for the next Spawn movie. Take your time. You're the ones putting people under pressure.
Oh, it's Craven, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is there Venom
Craven
before that?
Yeah, they just delayed that. The effects will be shit still.
Oh, did they?
Because it was supposed to be last October, but they moved it because of the strike.
They moved it.
Stuff.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay.
And you know what? You have to credit Spawn sometimes because they still get these arguably very good actors in, so they must be cursing them somehow.
I did hear someone, I don't know who it was in this movie, thought they were in a Marvel Universe movie, but not a Sony Universe movie.
Who's the oldest person in this cast?
No, I think it was someone. I think it might have been like Dakota Johnson or like Sydney Sweeney or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Or Adam Scott, maybe. No, maybe not Adam Scott. I feel like he's smart enough bloke.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, should we move on? Or is there anything else?
Let's move on to a better movie.
Let's move on to The Iron Claw. What a movie.
It is about the story of...
I've just realised now this is a better movie, but a much more depressing topic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing light about this. Sorry, this is the story about the Von Erich family, who were big names in the this is kind of pre-WWE.
Yeah, this is back in the sort of divisional, the regionals, the regions.
So this is like the pre-WWE era of wrestling. And sorry, I'm going to have to get some names up because I know we have three sons.
Do you want me to get them for you?
We've got Kevin, David,
Kerry,
Kerry
Doris, and Mike.
And then Mike. So from the poster you'll have seen, Kevin is played by Zac Efron. We've got David played by Harris Dickinson. And we've got Kerry played by
Jeremy
the bear.
White.
He'll always be referred to by Carmy.
Cousin.
Yes, chef.
Quick note. Sorry, did you see they've gotten the writer of The Bear to do Thunderbolts?
That is interesting.
And you know what? That's the type of shit where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's go for it. Anyway, go ahead.
Sorry, is that a TV show or a movie?
It's meant to be a movie.
Okay. And then, sorry, the last person I just wanted to mention there is
Fritz.
Holt McCallany.
As Fritz von Erich.
McCallany? Yeah, as Fritz, as their father. Who back in the day was a wrestler himself, but felt like he was never really got a shot from the top dogs. As he would always say, you know, he never got his hand on the World Championship. But this is really a kind of harrowing story about how this family has just been... It's not supernatural in any way, but they just seem to be followed by a curse on their name. And bad things just keep happening to them. And to kind of explain how harrowing this story is, the director and writer came out and talked about how they had to like pull back some of the kind of bad stuff that actually happened to this family so that they could actually get the movie made, because no one would believe that, you know, the amount of bad things that happened actually happened. So there's one brother in real life who just doesn't appear in this movie, and for a good reason. But
nobody liked him.
Nobody liked him. But what I want to say, okay, so first of all, I thought the story was strong, but I think the direction was fantastic and the acting was incredible.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into awards talks or snubs or anything like that, but I thought Zac Efron was probably the best he's ever been. There's the opening scene where you see him, and I think you referred to it. It's like seeing
a shaved gorilla.
No, sorry. I thought it was like seeing the T-Rex.
Oh yes,
in Jurassic Park or Godzilla for the first time, because it's just like, where does he end?
He's freakishly buff.
He's incredibly built.
Distractingly so.
Yeah.
There's a scene, you know the scene I'm talking about, where he gets body slammed on the outside and he crawls back into the ring, and then his back muscles have back muscles, and it's just like gross.
It's like the Transformer.
Yeah, it's gross.
But yeah, and then the dynamic between not only like the three main brothers, but even like Mike seems like they just seem to have this bond, and yeah, he's the youngest brother, but they just seem to have this bond, which I don't know if they managed to build that just over the shooting period, or if they, you know, the director maybe had them kind of do some interaction pre-shoot or whatever, but they just seem to have this, you know, back and forth and an understanding. Like there's even points in the movie where like characters doesn't even have to say anything, but one of the brothers straight away just like, you know, oh, sorry about that, or, you know, I feel you, or just like, and it's very smart, and it's a good way of writing, because like nothing, you know, not everything has to be explained to the audience. Yeah, but sorry, the one other person I forgot to mention is Lily James as Pam. Not that one. Yeah, who plays Kevin's to-be wife in the film.
Spoilers.
But she's very good as well. She has I'm going to say a dodgy accent at times.
I don't mind.
I don't. Yeah, again, I don't mind it. But you had one serious complaint, but I didn't have a huge amount of trouble with it. I kind of got on board with it by that stage.
Serious. It's not a serious complaint.
But like, okay.
Can I say my things I like about the movie first before?
Yeah. Okay. So sorry. Is there anything else you want to add there? Because I just honestly, I thought the direction. I don't know what this director has done previously. I don't know what he's set to do next, but can't wait to see what he does. And then the three boys are great. Holt McCallany, whatever his name is fantastic. You would have known him from Mindhunter. They're kind of just the main things. And then I just think story wise it was actually really, really strong. There was no point in, I thought there was a huge let up, because it's such a harrowing story. It's very hard to kind of keep going.
Yeah.
But I felt like there was always this kind of ray of hope and stuff, which I was kind of looking forward to. And there's a beautiful scene towards the end of the movie. I won't say what it is. I got close to tears at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was a lot of people obviously teared up during All of Us Strangers. I was close in this movie.
This was, So I guess my biggest thing, Sean Durkin is the name of the director.
Yeah.
And he was told by the family that the most important thing about telling this story was that he wants to show the love between the brothers. That was always at the forefront, and like you say, it's what keeps this movie going. It is that sort of hope, as well as that Pam character, because she's kind of removed from the family, so she can be the audience's sort of looking point of being like, hey guys,
what's going on here?
Are you sure this? Because basically it's very sort of over overbearing father who wants to put them all into the business and basically live out the dream he never had. And then also the structure, there's a scene where he's like, he talks about his sons and he lists them in order. He goes, that's the order, that's my order of favorites. The list can change, but that's it at the moment. So you have all these guys looking for their father's attention, and they all have different reactions to that. I think it's a movie that uses the realm of professional wrestling, which is known for this over big personalities and overly macho and big men, to tell a story about grief and ambition and pain, which I just, or
even like the tiger parenting element as well is really well done in this.
So that's what I love about the movie the most. I think the performances, like I said, are, like as David said, are unbelievable. Mainly from Zac Efron. Holt as well is great. Holt McCallany those are my two standouts. I think Jeremy Allen White's like, he's good in it. Like, he fits with the others. That's the best thing you could say about him. And Harris Dickinson is just in banger after banger. Like, whoever his agent is doing a great job. It's understated as well. The director does a great job of just basically not being too heavy-handed with all the sort of harrowing moments, as David said. But I also think, for me, as someone who kind of dips in and out of being a bit of a wrestling fan, a big fan when I was a kid, as discussed in this podcast, Cody got his match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but The Rock has joined the Bloodline, David. It's all kicking off. Elimination Chambers was last weekend, so let's see if that had anything to do with it. But no, was seeing all the references to the Von Erichs, who I'd heard about, the Flying Freebirds, the Harley Race as well, who was that the ugly fucker who was basically great on the mic but a horrible wrestler, but they just kept the title on him. And of course Ric Flair, which to me was my, as David said, my serious complaint, but just what took me out of the movie the most. I was having so much fun with the movie, and then that scene happens, but not only does it happen, it's basically Ric Flair giving one of his famous promos. You would have seen it, you might have seen it before. He's been linked as a sort of a inspiration for McGregor at times. But it goes on for so long. And he's in it for so much compared to everyone else. And he's so not like Ric Flair. And the actors come out and said, I'm not doing a Ric Flair impression. I'm doing my own take on it. Mate, you're barely in the movie. Just do an impression and just don't take me out of the movie. That's my only issue.
Would there be an option to just take that interview of Ric Flair and then show maybe that match from a distance or something like that? Or
absolutely do that. Just put the real Ric Flair promo in, because it's a great promo. I don't know if I sent it to you.
I've seen it before. It's pretty famous.
But I do like, there's a scene, it's not too much of a spoiler, but there's a scene where Ric Flair, who was known for, doing loads of drugs, sleeping with other women and drinking and stuff like that, and he was like the NWA champion, which was like a really big thing. So there's a great scene in the locker room where he is just so blasé about this and doesn't give a shit, and yet you have the Von Erichs, who that's all their family is trying to do, and you see this guy who is so just laid back about it that it's almost like, how have we not gotten like what he has? So that scene is very good. I really like that scene. So I don't think you could do the promo without him, but I would just take the promo out.
Okay.
Just take it out altogether. I know it's famous, but just don't. It's like the other way sometimes, like movies like Selma and stuff like that. They don't really try to recreate the most famous speeches. Not saying Ric Flair's speech.
It's Martin Luther King.
But put your own spin on it. Don't literally have it be a shot for shot. Because you're asking for drawn comparisons. That's my only issue.
That's fair.
Also, I guess, so I went to a preview screening of it with Omniplex, and it was very funny was I walked into the room, just a lot of women, and I was like, this is a lot of women for a movie about the Von Erich family. And I'd known what happened to the Von Erich family, so I was kind of like, Jesus Christ, okay, fair enough. And then Zac Efron shows up on screen, and then I hear like little nervous giggles, and I'm like, okay, I know what's happening here. And then Jeremy Allen White, who was like, this was the week may have been a week or two after his Calvin Klein commercial came out, and then louder giggles happened, and I was like, okay. But then it actually made it somewhat more entertaining, because they had no idea. Well, some of them might have, but based on the gasps, and the woman beside me who literally had her hands in front of her face had no idea of the story. So it actually kind of helped in a way. But for me, because I knew story beats to it, I don't think I was able to enjoy the movie as much as if I'd gone in completely blind. So that'd be my biggest thing to people that we probably should have mentioned up top, is don't look into the family at all, because I feel like a lot of the emotional, because it's so understated, a lot of the emotional sort of moments come from the revelations that kind of happen to this family throughout.
Just on those points, like I don't think there's any kind of glorification as well, which is really good. It shows how difficult that business is, but then also shows how like kind of heavy-handed the father was, and how the effect he kind of had on them. But like the other point I kind of wanted to make is that it never, like you were saying, how the father kind of ranked them and stuff, and very easily, again, I don't really know what happened in real life, but within the movie, all I can really say is that it was great to see that it never seemed to get on top of the brothers and stuff, which was nice, and there was still that camaraderie and stuff. But yeah, just again, it is disappointing that it hasn't had maybe the breakthrough that some other films kind of that came out later in 2023 had. But I mean, like, I can see everyone in this movie kind of going on and doing some top stuff now, and hopefully, well, I know where there's a movie coming out soon. I'm sure we'll mention it later on about Zac Efron, but like you'd hope he gets into some more
absolutely
more prestige kind of films of this.
I also forgot my review tagline was Kingsman and Wildcats and the Bear Oh My. I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely worth checking out if you can, and very good watch.
Yeah.
We're also not doing a Tell You What I Saw the other day because it's a bit too early into the month, and I've not watched many good things worth recommending. David's going to recommend The Lost Boys.
No, it's leaving Amazon.
Jesus Christ.
It's fun, like, but I don't know if it would. Hold on. Let me see if there's anything I'm like, need to watch.
I watched Sense and Sensibility. That was not good. Okay, this is not part of Tell You What I Saw the other day, but I watched Sensibility, and Joe, I actually liked it. I'm not a big fan of the old Jane Austen not biopics, whatever they're called, period pieces things.
Yeah,
and this movie was pretty good. It was all going well, intrigue, and then there's like a third act fight scene between a woman and a fever, and that's the climax. That's one of the biggest tension points.
I watched Kramer versus Kramer.
That's great.
On Amazon, yeah.
That's good.
I think it's still on Amazon. Hold on, let me check. It is still on Amazon.
David, how great is him making the toast?
Oh, incredible.
Unbelievable performances.
Yeah, just beautiful. Again, another one where a bit of a tearjerker towards the end, but it's very heavy-handed. Jesus, yeah.
I do, yeah. But see, there's something about, to make it all about me for just a second, there's something about when I shout on about a movie so much, and then you log it, and then it's like 4 stars plus. I'm like, get in. Sorry,
I'm just seeing if there's anything else that's like.
I'll tell you about other bad movies I watched. Watched Mean Girls, the musical. It's an average musical about a movie that's very iconic and everyone loves. So it was never going to be as good. So it's not as good. So it's just know what you're expecting when you get into it. That's another where I'm like, people need to calm down. But again, I'm aware.
Did you say you got Mubi?
Yeah.
My Life as a Zucchini, or it should be My Life as a Courgette. It's only like 66 minutes. 66 minutes. Oh, I hate courgettes. It's only 66 minutes long. I'm telling you, man.
What?
It's good.
Okay, so people should watch it?
Yeah, give it a look.
Okay.
It's, again, it goes on with our theme of harrowing.
Shall we speak about another good movie that is not... Well, it's gotten a bit of recognition, but maybe not the same as a Madame Web. American Fiction. Oh, this one's me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so... American Fiction. It's starring Jeffrey Wright as a guy called Thelonious Monk Ellison, and it's basically about him. He's a writer. He's a professor. He's very strongly opinionated on what sort of the entertainment industry should be like regarding black people and their stories.
The black experience.
And basically, as a joke, when he is laid on sabbatical or he's told to fuck off, and he basically writes a very heavy-handed sort of blaxploitation-esque novel to kind of be like, look, it's easy, and then all of a sudden he gives it to his publisher as a joke to say, see if he can sell that, and all of a sudden it blows up and becomes a hot seller in the book market. They want to make movies from it. They want to make they want an award push and everything like that. So it's this really funny satire just about where the entertainment industry is, where the book industry is.
Literature.
I don't know much about the latter, but I focus more on the sort of the Hollywood movie side of things, and it's a very funny satire about that, and also just about I don't know, like the black experience as well. But what you've also got attached to that as well is a sort of very interesting sort of family dynamic where he is sort of pushed to do these things based on different sort of family pressures that come about. You know, he's very distant with his father. His mother is kind of suffering an illness. His sister and his brother both have financial difficulties for different reasons, so he's trying to like help them. He's also trying to get into a relationship. He's trying to open up, but at the same time has this big secret. So there's this sort of two things playing against each other. It's nominated for like best picture, best screenplay, best actor, best supporting actor, a lot of these plaudits, and rightly so, because again, some of the satire stuff is really, really good in it. Where it just doesn't gel with me is that sort of family drama dynamic in it. It's very important to the story. I'm aware of that because it's what pushes the characters to sort of continue this ruse that he's kind of living under with the sort of entertainment industry and stuff like that. But I just felt it was quite jarring because I really enjoyed the satire bits. I really enjoyed where the movie was going with that, the sort of the punches it was taking. There's great scenes with him like on the phone with publishers, meeting different movie directors that are really, really good. But then all of a sudden he's at home and he's looking after his mother and he's not getting on with his girlfriend. That just took me away from a side of the movie I preferred. But I understand its importance. But that's the only reason it didn't gel for me. But more things about it would be it's Jeffrey Wright in a leading man role, killing it, which is rightly so. It's great to see him finally getting recognition in that sense. Sterling K. Brown, wonderfully funny in it as well. There's some great one-liners. There's one line about Hollywood being it's a whole town run on book reports, and wonderfully witty. It's wonderfully witty, humor, satire, meta, the whole shebang. Great score as well, jazzy. Definitely worth checking out, but would understand if people weren't vibing with it for the same reasons I didn't.
Okay, yeah, no, like I just think the only way I kind of disagree with your point there is just that I think the movie would be a little bit hypocritical if it didn't have a more kind of personal based 100%, element.
I agree. Yeah.
Now I can understand exactly where you're coming from because I was enjoying the satire more than the family dynamic, but I just think that was the leverage, if that makes sense.
And you know, and I'll compare it to the likes of Barbie, which is a satire and has that female experience in it with it by having those two characters, and I think that balances that well. The movie is still a mess narratively, but I think that has that in there subtly to keep the plot going. But then there's obviously the likes of the America Fiera speech, which we'll talk about next week, and and we'll also talk about this in the larger scope of the Oscars next week as well, the entire movie of American Fiction, but also is there for when the emotional beats are important, whereas this I felt detracted from the movie a bit more.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Anything else I need to add? No, I think everything was good. And there was some very funny lines. The bits. There's some bits where he has to judge the literature contest, and he's in this judging panel with four other writers, one of which is a black female. The other three are all white. And just some very funny dynamics there. It's cool. But I can understand where you're coming from, but I just think the movie would be hypocritical if it ended up him being this kind of like lonely writer. And then
I agree. No, and like it's the movie about complaining about not having black stories.
Normal black
stories. And like, what's a normal black story? Like, I don't know. In the sense of like, what's a normal white story? Everyone's story is different, but in the sense, but like it's not the family drama has nothing to do with the color of their skin. It's just a family drama.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be like making Kramer versus Kramer, and it's a black family. Yeah, but you don't get that in Hollywood.
Yes, it has to be like there has to be, you know,
drug abuse or a gangster or something
also,
like that.
Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, but I saw a TikTok about Denzel talking about, because we were talking about The Color Purple and how, you know, Steven Spielberg was an uproar about that and stuff. Yeah. And he was talking about like, this was about, I can't remember what movie he was referring to, Denzel, but he was talking about it's absolutely nothing to do with the color of his skin. It's to do with your culture. It's to do with like a director knowing what it is to have like a hot comb go through your hair, and what it smells like, and what it feels against your skin. Like, that's why it's important to have these type of people telling these stories. So I just thought that would just again, but so to separate what we're talking about, I guess, with the likes of like, of course Spielberg could do The Color Purple, to something like this where it's just like, I feel like only these people could tell these stories because they know it as a story rather than like that's a black person story. Yeah. But again, I don't think it's bad. Like I don't think that's a negative in any way. I just think
I think again it's as much a personal kind of thing as well. But just again agree with everything you say. Performances are all great. Great to see Jeffrey Wright in a leading role. Like we're used to seeing him now with Westworld, with maybe the Daniel Craig James Bond franchise, him being the voice in What If and stuff like that. He's making his money, but like it's great to see him actually just get a role, and he was able to kind of spread himself a bit, and there had to be some dramatic bits where, as you say, with the family dynamic and him kind of balancing his guilt about not talking about the secret and stuff, but also comedic points as well, which were fantastic. So much appreciated, really, or much deserved.
Also, just another great line is it's cutting satirically but also dramatically as well.
Yeah.
And I just have a line that I maybe resonate with me, where I think someone says at one point, like, not being able to relate to people isn't a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Like all these like wonderfully cutting lines.
Yeah.
I just think from a script perspective are great. It's based on a book that is also very meta.
Yeah.
So I don't think it could fully be adapted.
Yeah.
But yeah, worth checking out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Even just for that final scene at the end where they decide how it ends. I just thought that was great.
Yeah. Speaking about movies with great endings, do you want to talk about Argylle?
Okay.
So, Joe, it's fun. I didn't see it, David.
Yeah.
I was more anticipated about this than I was the Iron Claw. I was anticipating this more than I was the Iron Claw. But then between bad reviews, which again means nothing, but then I saw your review, and I know if for the reasons you didn't like it, I knew I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
I will watch it. I just couldn't bring myself to go to the cinema, unfortunately. So this will be a bit one-sided.
Yeah. Okay, so Argylle is Matthew Vaughn's latest spy adventure film.
Okay.
And it is about a writer who writes famous kind of spy thriller novels about an agent called Argylle. But what happens is that she's kind of being tapped by some secret organizations out there because all the things that keep coming up in her book seem to be happening in real life.
Yeah.
So it's like she's somehow predicting stuff, what happens in real life. And then all of a sudden, as she's being kind of hunted down, what we assume is a good agent the writer is played by Bryce Dallas Howard, and the good agent that comes to help her is played by Sam Rockwell, and he comes in and kind of saves the day. And it's I would say kind of has similarities to a little bit kind of Night and Day, Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz.
Cool.
Probably not as over the top as it's probably as over the top, but anyway, not as Tom Cruisey, let's say. I think that's as far as I go.
Yeah.
Because it's very spoilery.
Yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns.
A lot of twists and turns. A lot of them, personally, I found a lot of them very predictable. And I think, yeah, you'd be the same. Like, there's certain characters that fit certain
tropes. Not
even tropes, but certain holes, if that makes sense. There are certain roles.
Yeah. I
was going to say square pegs and round holes, whatever.
Yeah.
It is...
And also just the reason, just to jump in there, like why I knew I was like, oh, David gave a bad review. Gary, maybe what if you find different? David's given things low scores. We both love Matthew Vaughn, and we both love Matthew Vaughn for the same reasons. Yeah. And I just feel like if what you didn't like about a Matthew Vaughn movie, I can imagine I'm like, that's fair. Because I think of this elements of Kingsman Golden Circle that we didn't like, that I've heard are kind of
very similar.
Ramped up here. I'm like, okay, cool.
So the biggest thing for me about this film is that it's missing the bite or the grit of the first Kingsman. So the first Kingsman, not afraid to kind of do things or say things, and this is like that, except like lighter version. If that makes sense. Not fun. Yeah, because
nobody likes Kingsman for that reason.
Yeah, and like
I know this is very hard for you to
No, it's not even that. So there is actually some good action scenes. There's some fun to be had in it. But then it seems to be ending forever. Yeah. Like there's a bit where they get on a boat and like I feel like they're on that boat for like an hour.
Okay.
And it just keeps ending and they keep running into next kind of bad guys that they need to get rid of or they need to deal with. And then there's a ticking clock. Oh my God. Yeah, so like hugely disappointing. And then there's an after credit scene. My God.
Was it a doozy?
It's not a doozy. If you can understand what it is, it could be a doozy, but I couldn't understand what it was going for.
Okay.
Yeah, just incredibly disappointing because there is some points in it that are quite good. I think Sam Rockwell is very good. He's very charismatic. There's some decent side characters.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. So
villains aren't great.
Okay.
Which again is disappointing. There's some so
without giving too much away, this because again I haven't seen it. I will absolutely watch this. So I'd seen a lot of stuff online about how Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell were miscast because it's not like in regards to being that sort of likable or sort of duo to hold the movie together, because from the outside it looks like it's a John Cena Dua Lipa movie, but they're only in it for a short amount of time from what I've heard. But it's actually more Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
But them.
Yeah, it is funny because if you look at the the poster,
Yeah.
they're like third and fourth
Yeah.
on the, or even fourth and fifth maybe roster,
Yeah.
which seems a bit strange. Yeah, they seem to like market this movie on Dua Lipa, John Cena and Henry Cavill, who are in it for minutes rather than hours. No, like I think Sam Rockwell is good. He's very charismatic. He's very witty and funny. There is a bit that happens where he kind of turns that tap off, and I'm kind of like, I was kind of enjoying that. Bryce Dallas Howard is a little bit annoying, but she's kind of supposed to be at the start.
I've heard that's the way her character's written.
She's kind of supposed to be at the start, and then there's kind of a pair of action scenes at the end, which one of them I know some people hated because it's like you don't actually get to see any, and then there's another action scene like almost immediately after that, which I feel like with Matthew Vaughn it should be one kind of big action scene
like
towards
the
the
church
end.
scene in Kingsman,
and then they're like either take it down a notch and then bring it back up again, like in Kingsman, or
the opposite in Kings of Gold Circle, where it just keeps building, but then Elton John's there for a bit.
Yeah. So I think it kind of went over an edge for me, and like as I said, there is enjoyment to be had, but again, it's.
Can I tell you why it's so shit?
Yeah.
It's made for $200 million.
Yeah.
Apple. They don't give a shit. It's going on to Apple Plus. People are going to watch it. They don't edit it. They just send it out. And Universal are like, cool, whatever. If you're going to pay us to distribute this, why not?
Yeah.
Like, if it's made no money, which is, and again, I'm going to back and say I love everyone in this movie. Love Bryce Dallas Howard. I actually prefer her as a director, if I'm honest. But if she can get some, like, again, David, let's see if her in Jurassic World Dominion or Fallen. Dominion with the dinosaur screaming at the water. Great acting from her. Yeah. Would like to see her more things such as this. Sam Rockwell, I want to see him in everything. He's excellent. Henry Cavill, Bryan Cranston, Sophia Boutella, Dua Lipa, Ariana DeBose, John Cena, Samuel L. Jackson. I love all those people. I want the best.
Oh, Sam Jackson is on the cast list,
and I want Matthew Vaughn to do well as well. So that's why I'm a bit annoyed that this movie didn't do well or isn't good, because I want the best for everyone there.
Yeah, as I said, it's very hard to talk about it because if you haven't seen it, it's. I'm trying to be vague.
Yeah,
but,
no, I really appreciate it because
and like, to be fair, like I've heard people like hate this, like absolutely hate it, think this is the worst movie ever. So again, I don't know, but
we've really mellowed out since Madam Web at the up top.
No, but like I personally, I'm just very disappointed by it because Matthew Vaughn has shown from many of his movies, like whether it be his original stuff like Kingsman and stuff, but also Kick-Ass as well.
First Class.
But even like First Class, like for him to be able to take characters and bring them together and stuff like that.
Am I right in saying this is the original script?
I presume so. I can't be.
Imagine watching Kingsman or Kick-Ass and being like, this guy's going to get $200 million and have an absolutely A-star list cast and fuck it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
And just
like,
that is disappointing.
But like that seems to be the way Hollywood is going nowadays, is that like the bigger the budget,
the worse it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. Because think about it, like if you had the budget of the creator, like Gareth Edwards did, and he has to like, okay, if we're gonna add visual effects to this, it has to be absolutely pristine and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I just feel like, and it's becoming a bit of a symptom of Hollywood nowadays, is that like you look at like Marvel are notorious for it, and again you mentioned it, they're like underpaying, overworking their effects staff. Yeah. But like you remember The Flash was the same. It seems to be just like kind of chronic across the board, and like Hollywood really needs to sort it out.
So another movie that you're a big fan of that came out this year is a movie called Poor Things.
Yes.
Incredible visuals. Yeah. Set design, costumes, acting. So the actors involved, the director. The budget is $35 million.
There you go.
And what's unfortunate is, and again, who are we to try and reprogram society in the sense of like people should go watch these movies? If they wanted to watch them, they'd watch them. So like, I'm not like saying people need to go watch, because would we have seen this? We would have seen this. Who am I kidding?
Argylle.
No, so it's Poor Things.
Yeah.
Well, my biggest thing is like, in a world where like, there surely has to come a breaking point where when a $200 million movie isn't making that, but a $35 million movie is making $100 million. It's probably not a bigger margin, but it's better content. So what are they more focused with? flashy content that loses them more money, but it builds an IP that they can sell Netflix shows and merchandise and stuff like that, or the artsy movie that only makes a budget, that only makes double its money back. I don't know. Who am I to say? I don't fucking
know. No, like anytime, like here's a secret, kids. All right, listen up. If you want to know what Hollywood runs on, it's very simple. It's money, right? Yeah. So if you see a movie getting made, like, why is that getting made? It's like, it's because of money. They think they're going to make their money back on it. Yeah. So yeah, like you say, there has to come a point, like there has to be some point in the graph where they're like, we're giving this too much money, and it's not making its money back. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, maybe, you know what? I'm going to say it. Don't go see this movie because I don't want to see more of this shit. Yeah. I don't want to see more of this shit. So yeah, maybe we should be more critical. Not even more critical. We should be just more hardlined. If something's bad, don't go see it, and they'll stop making it.
Do you know what, Dave? It's taken us 100 and whatever episodes, but not to agree with you, but just to that point, absolutely, yeah. Don't watch this if it's not. And I will watch it, but I will.
You'll watch it the right way.
I'll watch it in a way that Universal, please let me come to premieres and stuff. But let's just say I'll watch this free. I'll catch this.
You won't eat the apple.
I won't eat the apple. Very good. But yeah. No, fuck this. And don't go see Madam Web.
Don't go see.
We
didn't say go.
No,
see
but I'm just recapping.
Yeah, go see the Iron Claw.
Do we have the traffic light system? Yeah. Fucking get that green out of there. Get the orange out of there. Get the amber out of there.
Yeah.
I sound like the old man at the beginning of Jurassic Park. Get that amber out of there. Give me those dinosaurs to make.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a Hollywood problem as much as anything.
Yeah. It can't be us.
No, it can't be us.
Yeah. Shall we move on to what's coming out in March?
Yeah, let's do it. Dave,
this is my favourite time of year.
Why? Because it's Paddy's Day.
That too. It's March Movie Madness. And man, have we got some madness ahead of us. Okay. Opening the month up, 1st of March. We've got Dune 2, more Dune, please. The best. I've heard nothing but good things. It's debuted on 95% Rotten Tomatoes. I'm trying to set my expectations.
Yeah. It's going to be terrible.
I've heard someone say like it's really establishing itself as one of the greatest sci-fi trilogies of all time. I'm like, if only someone said this 2 years ago.
Yeah, what's the story with that? Is it a trilogy?
I think they'll wait to see if it makes money. Denis Villeneuve.
That's another issue with Hollywood.
Well, yeah.
We could have had this movie 3 years ago.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. Denis Villeneuve said he's making Messiah if he can, and then he'll make another movie after that. Let him go free. Let him make his Messiah movie.
I would like to see him do in his own independent stuff as well, though.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully, Warner Brothers give him that Christopher Nolan money.
Yeah,
or that absolutely. Money they would have given Christopher Nolan.
But yeah, if anyone doesn't know, it just follows up with Paul Atreides from the first Dune movie. That's half a movie, but this is the end of that first movie. So back to back,
it's on Netflix. So if you need to catch up, do your homework.
Go. And what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to little boy Timothée Chalamet in the desert fighting Elvis with Thanos and Black Widow. And Spider-Man's missus who dresses up in weird fucking armor at premieres. Yeah. I'm really excited. I'm trying to. It's going to be bad, Gary. Don't hype yourself up too much.
Don't forget Christopher Walken's in it.
Christopher Walken!
Gary.
Walk with that rhythm. You won't attract the worm. That's David Bowie. Space. I saw Zendaya in a weird spaceman costume. This has gotten worse. So, wait. Why are we in the chronology? Oh, no. So I did my bad impressions last week. Yeah okay. So... I know where I'm going with this. Dune 2. Spaceman is also out the same day on Netflix because Netflix are thinking no one's going to see Dune 2. It's about a guy who's raised by his grandparents in the Czech countryside after being abandoned as a young boy. He works as a scientist before trying to become the Czech Republic's first astronaut. It's got Adam Sandler in it and Paul Dano plays an alien, and it's directed by Paul Dano, I think, as well. It looks like a weird, quirky movie. I will probably check it out. I like Paul Dano. He's good in things. Yeah. He also directed a movie called... Did he do Wildlife? With Jake Gyllenhaal? It's a very good movie. Would recommend.
Okay.
Anyway, then we've got another movie called Ricky, Stan, Nicky, David. It's basically about three childhood best friends pull a prank where they invent an imaginary friend to get them out of trouble, and then 20 years later they still have this alibi going so they can go off to Vegas and do crazy things. But then all of a sudden their wives get suspicious, and then they say, we have to see this guy called Mr. Stan Nicky. So these three guys, played by Zac Efron and two other guys that look like the two other guys who were in other Zac Efron movies, such as the one about dating with what's his face?
The Awkward Moment.
Or the other one,
We're Best Friends.
yeah, just those, think of those type of friends.
Those, yeah.
But they get John Cena in, who's like a male stripper that you'd see up in Belfast in the Devonish. Have you heard about this?
No.
Have you not heard about this story? It's about 2 weeks old now. It's about 2 weeks old now. I'll show you videos. I won't show you videos. I'll tell you about the videos. I just can't do it on air.
Okay.
So they basically get him to be his friend, pretend to be
Ricky Stanicky.
but it goes awry as he becomes a
it
bigger
would.
part of their life, as you would expect. There's a movie called Monster, which has gotten a lot of praise in the...
So this is going to be shown at the Dublin International Film Festival.
Yeah, it's all
which is
about...
good to see.
It's all about when her young son, Menatu, starts to behave strangely. His mother feels that there is something wrong. Discovering that a teacher is responsible, she storms into the school demanding to know what's going on. But as the story unfolds through the eyes of the mother, teacher and child, the truth gradually emerges. Sounds interesting.
Could be good.
Yeah.
This wasn't nominated for international
No,
feature.
but I tell you what, and it's a metric that means nothing. I think it was the highest rated non-English movie on Letterboxd last year.
Interesting.
So that must mean something. As fans of Letterboxd, me and you, links in description. Follow us there. Drive Away Dolls, directed by Ethan Cohen. Jamie, an uninhibited free spirit, bemoaning yet another breakup with a girlfriend, and her demure friend Marion desperately needs to loosen up. In search of a fresh start, the two embark on an impromptu road trip to Tallahassee, but things quickly go awry when they cross paths with a group of inept criminals along the way. It's the Coens, you know this.
Sounds like Fargo, doesn't it?
It's very Fargo. Great cast.
Another big issue with Hollywood. Stop showing the whole movie in the trailer.
Yeah.
They ruined this movie for me.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Okay, well, don't watch it. Fuck me.
Beatty Feldstein.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Some good people in it. I forget the name of the other Drive Away doll. Do you know it?
No. No, I actually don't say. I don't know who the two girls are.
You know the whole story, but it's Geraldine Viswanathan. Sorry. She was on Seth Meyers. She was very fun. Oh, do you know who is in it? Our best friend Coleman Domingo.
There you go.
He's very good in a lot of these things we've watched. David, we're talking about great movies and great directors and how everything should be in cinemas. Roadhouse from Amazon Prime.
Oh boy.
Directed by Doug Liman with Jakey G and Conor McGregor.
So yeah, this again goes into our issues with Hollywood pile. Like there's a thing about like Netflix make bad movies. I think Amazon make worse movies. Like there was one recently John Cena was in and it looked horrendous.
I think it got like 0%.
And then like there was one with Daisy Edgar Jones as well, and I think she's a very nice girl, but my god, stop doing bad movies. This
Air
looks
is technically a Amazon movie.
But like this one's just coming out on the streaming service. This looks horrendous, and I'm very disappointed because our boy is in it. I'm talking about Jakey G, not Conor McGregor. He's nothing to do with us.
I want him far away from our island as possible. Yeah,
this looks terrible. Before it even comes out, I think we're gonna try and tell people not to go see it or not watch
Don't
this.
download it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Doug Liman. I love Jakey G.
Yeah.
I don't like them remaking a movie that I don't know or care about.
Yeah, go watch the original. With,
Patrick Swayze. Swayze, yeah.
What a man. Gone way too young.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm conflicted. But
yeah.
I know they made a lot of money out of it, so I don't know.
Amazon Bezos, man.
If you want a good boxing movie, or good MMA movie, or fighting movie,
yeah, The Fighter,
go watch it. Oh, I was going to say watch Southpaw.
Oh, watch Southpaw, yeah.
And if you want a good Doug Liman movie, ask John Hackett. That boy will love anything Doug Liman does. Big fan of American Made.
Okay, yeah, fair. That's a fun movie.
Yeah, Doug Liman does great stuff.
Yeah.
We also got Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. It's called in New York and it's coming to kill people.
So it doesn't look great, but we also went into the last Ghostbusters with low expectations.
True.
Yeah.
But what I loved about that movie was it was like, what if Ghostbusters were just really subtle in a small town, and now they're like, shit, fuck, people like Ghostbusters again, quickly get it to New York, get all the old boys in costumes.
Yeah, fair.
Also, what I will say is it's a different writer and director, and that writer-director whose name I cannot remember has not done good things. I feel like he did City of Ember. I don't know why that comes to mind.
Well, Doug Liman did Chaos Walking.
That's different. Now, David, that's different because we went into that. We didn't go into that movie with expectations, and we went to the other movies with expectations.
He also did Jumper.
Jumper's fun
fun.
time. Yeah. Jumper's a fun time. Do you want to keep doing Doug Liman ones where I look up Ghostbusters?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So we've got Edge of Tomorrow, which is top tier.
That is an unbelievable movie.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is mid tier.
It's a fun time.
I know you don't like the Bournes, but he did the Bourne Identity.
I've not liked the Bournes. I just not seen the Bournes.
And then he did American Made and Jumper and Chaos Walking. But it says here he also did Swingers.
Maybe did you?
That's interesting.
There you go.
1996. Fucking hell.
He's been around a long time. This old Dougie boy.
Favreau and Vince Vaughn in their prime.
Going back to the writer-director of Ghostbusters,
Yep.
but New York is colder now than you'd expect, and Mike Cullis. He's directed Monster House, the 2000s.
Hey, that is fun. That is fun.
Okay. And he did City of Ember, Poltergeist, and A Boy Called Christmas. So those are his directing credits, and his writing credits is Ghostbusters and Two Things I Can't See That Are Hidden by Filters. Oh, he did whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm just more hesitant because,
as you should.
Because Ivan Reitman wasn't Ivan Reitman.
It was Ivan Reitman that did the first one.
No, Jason Reitman.
Sorry,
his son
Jason Reitman.
did
the first
Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was very, very good.
Very good.
And I back him. Not too sure about this guy, Gil Keenan. Also, what are you doing making a movie about it being called New York now, but in like the middle of spring?
Oh, you think this should be a winter movie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's cold in New York, and it might kill you. The scariest thing about New York is the cold, David.
No. See, I understand what you mean, but like people going into the cinema when it's cold outside, is that not like reverse psychology or something like that? No.
Okay, but now you're going because it's set in summer, and now you're going in to watch a cold movie. I don't know.
It's set in the summer.
Yeah, it's set in the summer. See, that's the point. Is that New York is cold when it's not meant to be cold.
No, but it's coming out in the spring.
Yes.
I'm only partially joking.
Sorry, what are we talking? Did you say web?
Go watch that.
Don't go watch Madam
Watch Madam Web.
We also got Robot Dreams. It's an animated movie from Spain that's nominated for Best Picture coming out. It could be worth a watch. And then we got two big movies coming out. One is Kung Fu Panda 4 that was meant to come out on the 8th. It's meant to come out it's coming out the 9th of March in America, but for some reason we're not getting it until the 29th.
Never seen a Kung Fu Panda movie.
It's the Fat Panda, which he's titles himself as.
He knows Kung Fu now?
And he knows Kung Fu.
Surely after 4 movies he's learned it.
Yeah, no, see, he's learned it, and then he's a special dragon warrior maybe, and then he had to get a staff, and then I can't remember them. But this one's got Aquafina in it, and people aren't happy, and she just seems to be doing her usual
That
stick.
goes with our
Yes.
pile of insults on women in Hollywood.
What? She's just doing the same, but she just is doing the same voice for everything. Between little,
What was the movie you watched recently?
Quiz Lady.
She was Quiz Lady, yeah. You
Yeah.
said that.
but she's just doing.
You haven't seen The Farewell, have you?
I have seen The Farewell. She's great in The Farewell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her when she's not being herself.
Or Crazy Rich Asians.
She's alright in that. Yeah, that's a fun time.
Okay. Anyway,
and
don't be mean. All right.
I'm not being mean.
Not you. The people.
Yeah, just that. Do you know what? I honestly think Madam Web has broken me, and I'm gonna try stop being mean to movies.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this is like a
turning point in
turning
your life.
point. This is a
Gary was
reformation.
visited by the spider web of past or something.
The three women came to me in my dream and kicked me out a window, and now I've decided to stop being mean to movies.
Yeah.
I honestly think because I watched Mean Girls. Like I said, I gave it 1.5. I still have good things to say about it rather than bad. I think this might be a changing point. I think I've grown.
Yeah.
Show me a rom-com. You found me at a great point in
Yeah.
life. Although anyone but you, though, that's woof.
Okay, I'll have to watch it.
Anyway, sorry, last one, and then you're free forever, David. Is Godzilla x Kong:
This
The New Empire?
is coming way too soon.
What you mean?
I just think this has just come upon me.
So hold on. Gary's like, you can't do Ghostbusters in summer. It's too early, David.
No, I'm not saying. I just think like we just got a Godzilla movie. I know it has nothing to do with this Godzilla. Yeah, I know, but no, sorry. Honestly, I feel like a Godzilla Kong movie is something that should come out in like the middle of the summer, and I'm kind of like,
it must be congested or something like
Yeah.
that. But see, also, I don't understand why Warner Brothers are doing this to themselves, because they've got, so obviously they're all gung ho on Dune 2,
yeah,
and they obviously have to wait a while, and then they're going to ramp up Godzilla. You'd have to think.
because I haven't seen a trailer or anything.
No,
for this.
but I've heard things about it that's got me excited.
And so sorry, is this the same cast as the last one?
It is, but
I
all the
really-
good actors aren't showing
really
up.
didn't enjoy that last one, the Mecha Godzilla one.
the Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah. There was some bits were good, but it went on forever.
Now, what I will say is we watched that at home.
No, I watched it in the cinema.
Did you watch it in the cinema?
Yeah.
I watched it at home. Because I didn't think... Okay, fine. Because remember, it was during COVID. It was during COVID.
Really?
And I watched it with Owen in our old apartment. Because that was the only way we could get it.
Maybe I'm thinking of King of Monsters.
Because Joe was very funny. Oh, this is great. And if Owen's listening, he'll love that I'm telling this story. He got like a Now TV subscription because we thought it was on Now TV.
Fuck, yeah.
But it wasn't. And then he forgot to cancel it.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks later, he was like, where's all this money gone? And he goes, oh yeah, for that movie I never got to watch.
So what streaming service was it on?
You had to pay for it on digital. It wasn't part of Now TV. You had to like just rent it.
Okay.
Anyway, this is getting a bit of hinge.
No, so I must be thinking of King of Monsters. That's what I must be thinking of. Yeah, because I saw that in the cinema.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see that with you, actually.
No.
What was go? Oh, that was the big fight we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
That was Gary versus David. Or David versus Gary.
Yeah.
Alphabetically. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I always say David and Gary.
Okay.
Except when people call you Dave.
Who the fuck calls me Dave?
Weird. This is midweek madness. Right. The cast of Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. Horrible name.
The what?
Oh, it's The New Empire.
Why isn't that just Godzilla? Yeah, Godzilla X Kong sounds like a rap.
Yeah, but they're joining up.
Song.
That's the thing.
Okay.
I think because they have to fight someone else. Again, I haven't watched the trailer. I know there's a
They
little.
fight you.
They're fighting us, Dave. It's a tag team match.
Oh,
it's me and you versus Godzilla and Kong, and then we got the Von Erichs over there.
Okay.
And then all the Madam Web.
This is a triple threat.
It's a triple. Well, I don't think they call it. Yeah, it would be triple threat tag team match, Dave.
Okay.
Now, what we could do is if we were to do like a tag team gauntlet match where basically one tag team goes out and then like it's one after the other.
What about Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank?
Is there going to be a...
I think we have enough to afford this, David.
Is there a briefcase full of money?
I think we could fund this. Oh, that type of match with the ladder. I think Godzilla and Kong have that, like they beat us their hands down.
What if we put it underground?
Put it underground. They live underground, David. They live so underground. There's another Earth under there.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, do you want to hear the cast?
Go on, yes.
Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry. What are you doing? Dan Stevens, and then other people I don't know.
Stan Stevens in the last...
I don't think so. His name is Trapper. He's in The Sea Beast. He's in another movie with a big animal. And he's in Colossal, another movie with a big animal. And Beauty and the Beast, movie with a big beast. Oh, and he's in Eurovision with the biggest beast of all, nominated actor Pierce Brendan Brosnan.
I thought you were going to say Iceland.
No, those are movies, eh?
Yeah, that's a packed month. But
yeah, it's a shame. It's a good thing we'll both be here long enough to watch all those movies. Yeah,
I've got a busy March.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll see any of that.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll do next month, but I'll just do it solo. I'll get a sub in. I'll get.
You might. You might.
We'll see.
Why not?
It's a month away. We'll plan it away. Well, is it? It's a month and a bit away.
We'll do it in April.
We'll do it in April. Yeah, we'll do a bumper month. We'll do 2 back to back.
Yeah.
But also tune in next week because David's back. David's sticking around one more week before he leaves me forever, and it'll feel like forever.
Thank Christ.
Thank Christ. To do the Oscars. So be sure to give that a listen and let us know who you think are going to win the Oscars and who you want to win the Oscars.
Yeah, if you heard, I'm hosting the Oscars.
David's hosting the Oscars. That's where he's going. He's going over to LA, baby.
Go to Hollywood. I'm going to sort them out.
Stop making bad movies.
Yeah, it's so simple. Why would you make a bad movie?
Sometimes you can make a bad podcast and you have a fun time.
That's
Speaking
true.
of, if people have listened to our Recast Away, let us know who you want to be recasted in that movie, but tell us what other movies to recast.
Yeah, or if they have any ideas for actors,
Yeah.
categories, or directors.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Just
Let us know your ideas
Yeah.
so we can steal them and
Yeah.
just use them for a podcast.
And make absolutely no money from it. But yes, be sure to tune in. You can subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars or else we're going to send a big monkey and lizard after you. Their name is...
No,
Their name is...
I'm just trying to think of that dynamic in real life, like a monkey with like a lizard on its back or something. Anyway.
The audience is missing some incredible visuals right now as David processes that in his brain. What else? We also are on YouTube. If people want to listen on YouTube either, you can comment there to let us know your thoughts and stuff. And we're on TikTok, but I don't put up much TikToks, but I'll try to put up more TikToks. A lot of the stuff goes up on the Instagram, so if you follow the Instagram, you get most of the stuff there. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And David, thank you so much for this third podcast we've squeezed in this week. I really appreciate it.
You owe me so much time.
I know. Can I interest you in a pat in the back?
Pass.
Pat We don't need you, Pat. I thought he'd want you on the back. He doesn't want you on the back, Pat. I still have to pay him for the hour. Fuck. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed.